We're live. See if anybody jumps on today. Just got done doing a live broadcast for a TV show. So I'm all set up sitting here because I was on that show. So now set up to do a live YouTube show. See if anybody jumps on. Got any questions or comments? I'll type in, let's chat. Paint Live TV, we're live, answering your questions, comments on painting. So I just did a live show and for a TV channel, and now and I gave some tips and tricks for exterior painting, coming up for this exterior season. So one of them, if you've never put bug juice in your paint, try bug juice. Bug juice is absolutely amazing. So exterior season's coming up. Why have your paint or your house and your paint job, be covered in insects, covered in spider webs, and all those ugly things from spiders and gnats and mosquitoes and ants. Put bug juice in your paint. It's an insecticide that will actually kill flying and crawling insects. And we've seen it actually last, even up to 7 years in paint. So bug juice is a pretty cool product. So give that a try. Let's see, how are you doing, buddy? I've been away for a little while. Nice to see you again, Mike. Mike's on. Somebody already jumped on the chat. So kind of cool. This is my setup, for the show I was just on. If you don't know about it, it's the TV show. You'll end up seeing it, me on that show around the house. Eric interviewed me for Around the House show, a TV show. So that's gonna be pretty cool. That was fun, giving some tips and tricks for exterior painting. So if you got any questions, now's the time to ask. Here's another simple little trick that I'll talk about. We'll get on to before you paint. We're coming out of winter time. People are starting to turn on their sprinklers. My sprinklers are turned on before you do any exterior painting, and even if you're not going to be painting the exterior of your house, check your sprinklers. If your sprinklers are hitting your house, whether it's composite siding, it's really bad for composite siding, concrete siding, wood. Water is just going to damage the paint job. It's going to cause probably blistering, peeling. It's going to cause the paint to fade faster. Paint in itself is just not waterproof, water resistant. So check your sprinklers, check your gutters. If your gutters, downspouts are clogged, gutters are overspilling, it's going to be splashing on the house. It's just going to be doing damage to the siding in your house and damage to the paint job. So before you paint, check your sprinkler system, check your gutters. So another cool little trick, if you want your paint to be waterproof, if you want it to be water resistant, there's a product from Rust-Oleum called Ocon Paint Booster. Ocon Paint Booster is a product that will make paint water resistant. It's 100% acrylic resin added to your paint. It doesn't degrade the quality of the paint. It doesn't cause touch-up issues. It doesn't cause any type of issues, with the quality of the paint at all. So great product. So Catherine's on. I'm new to your channel. Is there a particular exterior paint that is superior for painting over hardy board? Thank you. We need to repaint our house. So hardy board is, Catherine, it's one of the more difficult exterior substrates to paint. So it absorbs a lot of the acrylic out of the paint. It comes pre-primed. It is pretty unforgiving when it comes to start and stop points when you're spraying or rolling. If you have overlaps anywhere, say in the middle of the field, you usually see those see those overlaps, especially the first time it's painted. As the paint starts to build up over time, it's easier to paint. But if you're painting it and it's brand new, pre-primed, man, you got to get a good heavy coat of paint on the first time and then put a second coat of paint over the top of that. So if you're rolling it, it's really difficult to roll an exterior of a house. Typically, you're spraying the exterior of a house, but I can definitely would want to say, pay attention to your logical start and stops. If you got two windows in the middle of a run, you're going to start, spraying from one window, in spraying at the other window. Don't release your trigger and start and stop anywhere in the middle of that. So try to find logical start and stops. I would highly recommend using Benjamin Moore Aura. It's a great paint. They say it's a paint primer in one. I'm not a big fan of paint and primer in one. If something needs to be primed, I'm going to use a very specific primer where the situation, whatever substrate I'm dealing with, wherever that situation needs to be primed, I'm going to use a primer specifically for that, and then I'll top coat it. But Benjamin Moore Aura is a great product, that I would use over Hardy Plank. I've used it quite a bit over Hardy board, Hardy Plank. Use it on metal, vinyl, composite siding. Great products. So Jasmine, hey man, how's it going? I'm looking to start my business, and I've watched a few of your clips about how to bid jobs. How are you charging for paint? Is that included in the square footage price? So when I bid an exterior, I go based on the floor square feet, and I just have a floor square foot price right now. My floor square foot price, it's in a range of $250 to $450 a square foot, and that includes everything. That includes all the materials of paint. It includes the labor, everything, all inclusive. So if the house is 1,500 square feet, and you were $2 a square foot, then it's going to be $3,000. And I'm typically, the smaller the house, I'm more on the high side of my square foot price. So if it's like 1,500 square feet, I'm going to be getting closer to that $4 range per square foot. If it's a larger house, like 10,000 square feet, I'm going to get down lower to the 250 square foot price. And some of those things that go into the price is how much prep work is, on the house. Is it 2 stories? Is it single story? Is it easy to access? A few of those things, come into play when it comes to determining, the square foot price. But the square foot price, if it's, a 3,000 square foot house, in the house, the garage is attached to the house, it includes the garage. If the garage is detached, or like almost a separate structure, but, attached by like a breezeway or something like that, then I'm going to figure out the square foot of the garage, and that's going to be added to the square foot house, the square foot bid of the house. So it's pretty simple. Like when I do a bid, I'm going to be a lot of times just looking up the house on realtor.com or zillow.com, look at the square feet of the house, and that's how I typically determine, how many square feet it is. So, and that square foot, doesn't include the garage. So, when you see the square feet of the house. So hopefully that answers, your question. Any more questions? We've got a few people on. I know it's like early in the day. Usually don't get a lot of people on in the day, but I can keep up with questions. So, here's something. I talked about Ocon Paint Booster, making paint water repellent. We'll talk about, is there any other additives you can add to paint, to enhance the quality of the paint? You can add on interior paints, you can add mildewcides to paint. If you're using typically high-end paints, lifetime warranty paints, they're going to have, the additives in it that make it a better quality paint, that make it mildew, resistant, and not have issues with that. If you're trying to, go really cheap and buy cheap paint, a lot of those additives aren't going to be added in there. It's going to be lower in, resin and the good stuff in paint that makes paint, more, durable, more fade resistant stuff. You can add a mildewcide to the paint. I highly suggest you don't go using cheap paint. For 25 years, I've only used lifetime warranty coatings, and there's a reason why. Typically, without going over all the reasons, I just used this last summer. I used Bear, their lifetime warranty coating, which was Dynasty, and the color I used, it was a one coat color coverage. And I typically would estimate out the amount of paint that I would use. I think I ordered like 12 gallons. And because I hadn't had a lot of experience with the paint, it covered absolutely amazing with on the proper mill thickness. Because it covered so well, I used quite a bit less paint than I thought I would use. So I did end up, already buying that paint. But if I wouldn't have ordered so much, it ends up, if I would have used a cheaper paint, I probably would have used, a quarter more. And so the cost difference, from a cheap paint versus a good paint, it always pays for itself just in coverage itself. The headaches are cheap paints always splatter really bad. They usually create a lot of overspray and that's wet overspray, not just dry dust. If you're spraying, and those things are a nightmare that I just can't stand dealing with. High-end paints, lifetime warranty paints, have a higher resin count to it, so the paint comes out a lot smoother. It doesn't wear your airless tips out as fast because they don't have so much clays in them that make them extremely abrasive. So if I can tell you anything, use lifetime warranty paints. It's well worth the money. We got some more questions coming in. BP, hi, how are you doing? I'm a follower from the Netherlands, all the way in the Netherlands. I've been to London. I've been to the UK several times. England, absolutely love it over there. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking for that floor covering roller with foil you showed on a show. You don't know where that is available. Thanks, Ben. A floor covering roller with foil. I'm not sure what you're asking. The floor covering roller, is it a roller cover that or something you put your roller in to seal it? You might want to rephrase the question so I can figure that out. Let's see. The saran wrap. Some Lisa just from IBS. Oh, so I know what you're talking about. So it's that device that had a huge roll of basically saran wrap that had an adhesive on one side, and you roll it out, on the floor, which was really amazing because I was really fascinated by that product, and the people at the show. Just as soon as I grabbed it, they just walked away. Nobody was telling me what it was. Nobody was telling me how much it costs, where you can get it. I have no idea. And usually when I'm at those shows, people want me to show and highlight their product. They want to talk about it. They want to give you all this information and tell you where to buy it and everything. And they want me to promote it and sell it. And it's kind of interesting. Not one person told me who manufactured that rolling device. They didn't tell me where you can get the film itself. So I have no idea. The only thing I can say is just jump on my social media, because people were asking. The video got millions of views, one of them got 3 million views, and people were asking, where do you get it? And I have no idea, unfortunately. So um, usually I try to ask that kind of stuff, and I will interview the person wanting me to talk about their product, but everybody kind of just like, just dispersed. And I don't know, maybe I wasn't wearing deodorant at that time. So maybe that's why. Ryan Molina, he says, can you explain the difference between 100% acrylic versus acrylic latex? So, um, yeah, that's an interesting question. I'll come back to that one. It's kind of let me come back to that one real quick. To the cheaper paint tend to have more oxidation, where you have that white powdery stuff over time. So it's like chalky, like the paint turns chalky. You rub your hand on it and it gets chalky. So a cheaper paint, yeah, will oxidize, will get chalky, will fade. Um, all the things you don't want paint to do, it's going to happen a lot faster, with cheaper paints. I would say typically like a lifetime warranty paint versus a 12-year warranty paint, you're probably gonna have to repaint your house 4 years earlier, with the cheap paint versus a lifetime warranty paint. So that extra 4 years, eventually that's gonna in itself pay for itself also. So yeah, so I mean, I just whatever you do, buy lifetime warranty paint with whatever paint company you're using. All paint companies typically have lifetime warranties, and they kind of like tear down. And as they tear down in price, they're gonna be removing the good things out of the paint that make it last longer. Titanium for coverage, acrylic, the resin to that creates the hardness, the durability to paint. They're going to be removing that stuff. Um, hey, let me actually, I'm going to type in some. Um, Let me scroll down to another question. I know the paint line has some great products, and I would really like to get some. The rack and the twirly. Right now, it's a little out of our budget. What would be some other options I can do? Like the PSDR. That was I made it out of PVC pipe. When and then eventually Paint Line, created the product, out of metal, and created just a superior product. And I know people, you can make a booth. Make a booth without buying a Paint Line spray booth. For years we just built our booths right inside of a house. Sure tape, double-sided frog tape, double-sided containment tape from Sure Tape is how we built our spray booths. You got to try that tape. It's absolutely amazing. So give it a try. I mean, there's things you can do. It's like without purchasing expensive tools, they will pay for themselves quick. And so like the PSDR, the first one or two jobs, it's going to pay for itself. The spray booth, it'll take you two kitchen cabinet jobs to pay for the spray booth. So but they are investments. And so if you need to build something, PVC pipe, you can build a lot of things out of PVC pipe. So see, I'm still trying to type something in here. Pull it up here. Okay, let me see the next question. Do you use liquid masking? If so, have you had any issues with it? I haven't used liquid masking. I've used it a few times in my career. I know some people, a lot of painters use it and have a lot of success with it. I don't like, it says, you can go like French doors, raw wood. It can actually act as a primer. I wouldn't want to prime raw wood and use it as a primer on raw wood. I'm going to want to, use a specific primer first, and then, I'd want to go over the top of that, but I don't know. It's, there, where I've used it, I've just got accustomed to, masking and using masking and masking fast, where it hasn't been that big of a deal to me. And so I kind of, just limited use. But once again, I know there's people that use it and absolutely love it. And especially when you're doing a lot of little panes on a French door, it could be extremely beneficial. So let's see, what's the next question. Thanks for all the videos. Such great. Sam says, thanks for all the videos. Such great information. Leaky Bean. Hi, Chris, a subscriber and a decorator from the UK. I would say we still brush and roll over 90% of internal spaces. What percentage of internal jobs do you spray? So I would say that's, it's a good point. I know, because I've been over to Europe multiple times, and airless spraying is becoming more popular over there. The numbers were, back when I was traveling over there and got the experience painting over there, the numbers were 20% of the people in the UK used airless sprayers, 80% brushed and rolled. It was absolutely just the opposite over here in the United States. 80% of professional painters use airless sprayers, and only 20% of them brushed and rolled. It's a big difference, over here. And it really comes down to, like, on interiors, what do we, spray with an airless sprayer? When do we use an airless sprayer? When we're painting trim, 100% of the time, I'd say 98% of the time, we're spraying our trim. It's pretty rare that we would brush and roll any trim. When it comes to the walls, if it's new construction, every single house, new construction, is sprayed. Nobody rolls, walls with a roller, or it's very rare. If it's apartments, or it's going to be a flip, it's going to be sprayed. If we're doing a repaint inside a house, any type of homes, custom homes, high-end homes, where people live in the house, we're typically always rolling our interior walls. You get a better finish when you roll. In most cases, like with orange peel texture, which is behind me. But if you're going to be dealing with smooth walls, level 5 finish walls, you're definitely going to want to be spraying them, because you don't want to stipple them. Yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. Sam, do you ever thin down your paint when using an airless sprayer? Just bought an Avante from Harbor Freight to do an exterior, interior of a house. So I never, like, if you're in the United States, almost all paints are manufactured to go through an airless sprayer without thinning them. I've never thinned anything going through an airless sprayer, here in the United States. I know paints over in Europe, they will not go a lot of them, and that is actually rapidly changing, because more and more people are using airless sprayers. Over there, the paint is so thick, it's so viscous, you have to add water to it. Here in the United States, I've been painting for, 25 years, airless spraying since day one I started painting, and I don't thin anything. I do thin paints when I'm using an HVLP sprayer and running it through a remote pot. If I'm running it through a cup, gravity cup, or siphon cup, I do not thin my paints at all. So the acrylic question, the acrylic versus latex, I'm actually going to write an article on that. So I'm going to write an article on that, and I'm going to post it on my blog at paintlifesupply.com. So I'll go back to that. I'll say it's actually a really good topic. So Ryan Molina. So stay tuned. I'm going to write that up, and at paintlifesupply.com, there's a section called Ask the Painter. I'm going to write a blog on that and explain the difference. We got Green Frog Web Design Reviews. Great information, Chris. So another thing, let's see, I talked about Ocon Paint Booster lifetime warranty paints. I talked about Bug Juice. The question I get, we're running into exterior season now, and so, and somebody mentioned, lifetime warranty paints, cheap paints getting chalky, and can you paint, over chalky surfaces? So, and can you paint vinyl siding, and can you paint metal siding? What's interesting about metal siding and vinyl siding, that the companies, sold those products. I remember Sears, never side your house again, never paint your house again. Well, that's completely not true. So the metal and vinyl siding, the coatings, the powder coating, even the vinyl, they would actually get chalky over time. Rub your hand on it, it'll be extremely chalky. You can paint vinyl and you can paint metal siding. Been doing it for 25 years. And never had a failure on it. The chalkiness, rubbing your hand over that chalky surface, that's going to cause adhesion problems with your paint. And so you do got to get the bulk of that off. You don't have to get it off 100%. It's sometimes it's just completely impractical getting it off on parts of the house that you can't reach. But pressure washing it with a rotating nozzle will agitate the surface. It's going to get off the bulk of that, chalkiness. And then, what resides on the paint, there's two things that's going to resolve the issue that's going to cause your paint to stick and not fail. One of them, a product from Benjamin Moore, paint called Aura. Benjamin Moore Aura is their lifetime warranty paint. It was designed to stick to chalky surfaces. But I did a video painting a metal sided commercial building that had metal siding and vinyl siding, extremely chalking, one of the most extreme cases you could actually run into. I pressure washed it, got the bulk of it off. If you rubbed on it pretty good, you still had some chalkiness on your hand. Benjamin Moore Auras does that. I could have painted right over the top of that, but Emulsibond, I added Emulsibond to the paint. Emulsibond was designed to make paint stick to chalky surfaces. Emulsibond and Aura combined, it stuck. You couldn't even get that paint off, not even with duct tape doing a crosshatch test. So just a simple thing. If you've never heard of Emulsibond, give it a try if you're dealing with a chalky surface or cheap paint that got chalky. Garage doors, the metal garage doors are notorious for getting chalky and paint not sticking to them. So how often are you refinishing cabinetry, and do you prefer pigmented lacquer or CV as far as durability? So, I've done a lot of cabinets in my career, did a lot of furniture this winter, had my booth set up, still got my booth set up, did cabinets and furniture, all winter long. I do not use lacquers. I refuse to use lacquers. I refuse to use anything chemical related that is flammable. So I'm not going to risk myself. I'm not going to risk employees with, explosions happening. So it's just risky business. There's a lot of things that if you don't have proper ventilation, a lot of things that could ignite lacquers, including electricity, a light switch being kicked on, a refrigerator being kicked on, a fan could cause that's, ventilating could cause it can ignite. You could be sweeping the floor with lacquer dust on the floor and the static could ignite it. So I do not use lacquers. I use 2K polys. They're water-based, polyurethanes that you can catalyze or not catalyze, and they're far superior to any of the lacquers that I've ever used also. And they perform better. You can sand them just as fast as a lacquer. They dry just as fast as a lacquer, but the performance, on the cabinetry, on the furniture, they're more scratch resistant, more chip resistant, more chemical resistant, more water resistant. They bond better, especially when catalyzed to painted and coated surfaces. We do cabinet refinishing, and so I'm really extremely confident, using 2K polys over any of the coatings that were, top coating furniture and, cabinetry. So I can't stress enough, you know, going away from lacquers and into water-based coatings that don't cause issues. Now, if you're catalyzing it, now you need to definitely be wary of isocyanites and wearing a respirator and have ventilation for that, because you don't want to be breathing that stuff. And if you're not catalyzing it, it's not an issue. But there are also products that don't have issues. Now, a new product in the US, you can get Ecro now, and I did some furniture and some cabinetry with their products. This winter, absolutely loved it. 2K, one and 2K polys. Incredible products that do not have to be thinned at all. And so you might want to try using that product. Had great success using Renner products, all winter long too. So Renner and Ecro are two. Envirolac makes a really great product also. Malaysia makes a great product. So there's a bunch of them out there. You just research, who's the closest. Most of them you're gonna have to get online. That's how I get mine, is online. So keep up the great work. I'm greeting from Ireland. So Marty from Ireland is here. So Eric's got a question. How often do you repair stucco? Typically, anytime we're painting a stucco house, we're doing some type of repairs. So stucco is notorious for cracking up here. There's two products that we caulk, elastomeric sealants from Big Stretch, Sashco, and Tower Sealants make great products for caulking stucco. You want to make sure you're using proper techniques when you're caulking cracks. Tower Sealants makes trowelable elastomeric patching compounds for stucco. I absolutely love. Just scoop it right out. It's sanded where it's got the texture of stucco. I just did a house last year, did a bunch of stucco repairs where I was using that product, using from Tower and using Sashco's product that they a textured sealant for stucco repairs. So doing it all the time and doing it with a lot of success, using the right products. If you don't use good products to caulk the cracks, they are going to crack again. You got to use high-end products that bond well to those surfaces, because there's expansion, contraction, there's movement. It's going to easily separate if you use an inferior product. That's why I would side, with going with Sashco's. I'll look it up here. Sashco, makes an awesome product. I'll look it up here and tell you exactly what it is that I used, because I just forget because of my memory. Sashco makes a product called it's Moreflex. I used Moreflex. Moreflex is absolutely amazing. It comes in multiple colors. I typically am always painting my caulking and sealant, so I don't really care what color. It was great that I used. So Moreflex is amazing. So that answers that question. Hey, Chris, have you moved away from using Centurion? Thanks, Scott. So, I currently use my Ecro. I used a bunch of Ecro. This winter I used a bunch of Renner. Renner, has great customer service, and I think customer service is going to be the number one thing that obviously you want a great product. There's a lot of great 2K polys out there, but customer service and being readily accessible is going to be key, because most places you're not just going to be able to walk into your local paint store and get a 2K poly and get a good product, a good cabinet coating. I think Malaysia sold it like advanced hardware around here. I think there's a Benjamin Moore dealer that has a 2K poly, the commercial store here. But I'm looking for a company that has, a good website, that has good customer service where you can call them up, you can get your questions answered. A good company, because you're typically going to need, a color matching service. You're going to need the product to be color matched, and then you're going to need the product fast. It's like you can't wait around. It needs to be delivered fast. And I think so far, Renner's website, they redid their website like a year or two ago. The website, it used to be terrible, used to be a big problem, but they've really dialed in the process. They dialed in the turnaround times on their product, and they're now like gearing it towards retail customers, calling it not OEM people wanting hundreds of gallons for doing cabinetry with machines and stuff like that, spraying them. So I don't know, what's available to you. I would say, just from my experience, customer service wise, and Renner is the one of them that I kind of side to using now, quite a bit. eCrow got exposed to them and the people that running that side of things, and I really like the Italian based coatings. eCrow is an Italian based company that is now distributed here in the US, and Italian technology is to me far superior to other technologies out there. So give eCrow a try. But I don't know, once again, it's really going to be what's readily accessible to you and what you can get a hold of. What you don't want to do is start a cabinet job, because like me, if I order, usually like Renner, their turnaround is 3 to 5 days. So if you start a paint job, somebody just came into my paint store the other day, they're using Renner, they ran out. Now you just shut down your job site, because now you got to wait for 3 to 5 days to get another gallon. We always over ordered by a gallon, and still do. So Scott E says eCrow is in my backyard, basically great people. I gotta say that the people, Jeff Tatak, I think Brian Barosio, is now with eCrow. Great people, man. Great people to deal with. If you have any type of, because I think like cabinetry, painting cabinets, painting furniture, you're going to be running into technical issues all the time, and this is where you really, whatever product you use, you need a technical support team that is readily accessible to help you get through issues, whether it's fish iron, whether it is micro bubbling, whether it is the products running and stuff. You want to be dealing with a company. You can get somebody on the phone that could answer technical questions right now, and help you resolve problems. And so that's I put a lot of my deciding factor into what company I'm going to use into customer service. It's like Sashco has great customer service for caulking issues and sealant issues. They got a great customer support team. Yeah. So, hello, sir. I'm a follower of your YouTube channels, Vista Painting. So cool. Vista Painting's in the house. Austin, do you make a lot of money from your YouTube channel? I guess making a lot of money is all relative. What people consider a lot of money. It's not rocket science that I make money from creating social media content. So I wouldn't say I make a lot of money from my YouTube channel. I make a little bit of money from my YouTube channel, but not a lot. MC Painters, my Tritech T5 just packed up. Um, and then there's a heart in front of it. It says um, gutted, and that's it. Then gutted, just packed up. I'm not sure what Tritech makes awesome sprayers, so I love Tritech products. 100% made in the USA. From inside out of the sprayer, built to last. Incredible sprayers. So let's see. Moreflex, Brandon said Moreflex. Big up from UK. Adrian David. So Ecro. I'm going to get going here pretty soon. Got to head down to the store. So if anybody's got any last questions, I'm going to answer a few simple questions. Hey, I painted 2 sets of cabinets from videos you put out. Really appreciate your info. So that's a make and fix yourself projects. That's cool to know. Love to help people out. Love to hear that we are making a difference, with people watching our content. I got over 1,700 videos on YouTube now. And I do have 4 online courses now available. I've got a masking course, a caulking course, a cabinet course, and a exterior course. What's the difference between my courses and watching 1,700 videos on YouTube? I've never done anything out of those 1,700 videos so detailed and just from start to finish. Every video really is walking through the process, very detailed, and in an environment where I could really teach and educate, not just out on the job site. And like the cabinet course and the exterior course, it starts off with a lot of videos on how to market your company, how to write a professional bid packet. It kind of walks you through very detailed those things, and it walks you through systems and processes in depth of how to actually make money doing exterior repaints, make money doing cabinetry, doing cabinets in a full set of kitchen cabinets in a day and a half, doing an exterior in a day. It walks you through all that in detail. Then it kind of just walks you through the invoicing, process, how to get jobs, how to continue to communicate with your customers. There's my exterior courses. You walk through, watch the videos. Eventually, you're going to take quizzes. You're going to take final exam. Eventually, you're going to get a certificate from us that says you passed the course. Extremely in depth. If you own a painting company, caulking and masking are the things that we all start doing, right off the bat. And as soon as a guy can caulk and mask efficiently, he's actually worth something and worth a lot more money. You can sit down your employees, have them do our caulking and masking course on a weekend. They're going to come out, apply what they learned, and they're going to be able to mask and caulk a lot faster and more efficiently by taking that course. And so you're just going to have employees making you money quicker and faster. So the caulking course, the masking course, way more in depth into the tools that I use, to all kinds of different techniques that I use, masking and caulking, that I've never talked about in my YouTube videos, even in 1,700 videos. So they're available at paintlifesupply.com. That's our online store. So Packers have gone. Gutted a UK slang. Packers have gone. Gutted a UK. Interesting. The packings have gone. Probably the packings. So packings wore out, so that's one thing about packings. If you don't lube your sprayers every single time you use them, you're going to wear out the packings. The packings are they're O-rings, nylon O-rings, leather O-rings, packings that seal the piston as it moves up and down so the paint doesn't bypass it. If you don't lubricate it, the packings are going to wear out faster. All sprayers, you're eventually going to have to repack them, just the lubrication. the throat seal or piston lube is what makes it so the packings last longer. So lube your sprayers. So, but eventually, every sprayer is gonna have to be repacked at some point in time. It's way cheaper to repack it than replace it. Typically, like a 3,000 horse sprayer is gonna be a couple $100 to repack it. That's typically why we have an extra sprayer or an extra lower end that drop out the lower end, throw that lower end on, and away you go, and have the other lower end repacked. So you walk into Lowe's, you have $120 to paint a kitchen. What products do you pick? New brush, roller, and paint. So in Lowe's, so I don't like shop at Lowe's, for my paint products and stuff, but I know Lowe's does carry, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not sure all of them carry, but Lowe's carries Premier's paintbrushes. So Premier's branded paintbrushes are, in my opinion, the best paintbrushes on the market. So look for Premier's brushes at Lowe's. It's in a blue and red cover. Absolutely amazing paintbrush. So that would be the paintbrush I would choose. I'm not sure what rollers Lowe's sells. I use Premier's rollers. Premier's, if they sell their paintbrushes there, I think they may sell Premier's rollers there. So the Woven Pro could be sold there. I absolutely love the Woven Pro rollers. In paint, so like, let me look up, let's see, Lowe's. Lowe's, Lowe's paint. Let's see what Lowe's interior paint. What do they got? I know Home Depot sells Behr, and so I've got a lot of experience with Behr paint. If you go to Home Depot, Behr Dynasty is probably one of the best interior paints I've ever used. So it looks like Lowe's sells Sherwin-Williams paint and Valspar. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with Valspar, and I'm not sure the what label this is going to be. It's got Sherwin-Williams Infinity and Sherwin-Williams Showcase. It's going to be white labeled. I mean, what is it? Is it super paint? Is it cashmere? It's more likely Promar, which I think is garbage. The whole Promar line of paint I don't like at all. So I'm kind of curious like what paint it is. I probably would want to go with Valspar over the SW product, but then I don't have a lot of experience with Valspar. So, but I think, it goes back to, if anything, I'm going to be looking at the warranty, of these products, and I'm going to be going for, a lifetime warranty coating for interior or exterior. So, I don't know, I have to read a little bit more about these paints and have to go, use them and test them out before I could give any, advice on them. But I could give better advice if I was, in Home Depot. But because I got a Home Depot right by me, they got a Lowe's not too far away also. But so let me see what, let's see, paintbrushes or paint roller in Lowe's. Let's see what comes up. Paint rollers. See if it shows me any brands, contractor. They kind of just, they got Purdy rollers. Purdy's White Dove rollers, and I'm not a fan of Purdy paintbrushes at all, but so Lowe's sells Purdy brand. So the Purdy White Dove are really good rollers too. So if I can't get a Premier White Woven roller, I'm going to go with that Purdy, White Dove. Excellent choice, and that's at Lowe's. And so I'll pull up paint brush and see if I can see paint brush, and see if it pops up the Premier brush. A bunch of cheap brushes show up, or Purdy paint brushes show up. Not a fan of at all. It's called it was called something Pro. It's not popping up because I don't think it's at all. They got a brush by Valspar, which is probably just a white label brush. Um, let's see, Valspar. Yeah. Oh, I have one out in my toolbox because I got one of the brushes from Lowe's and I did a review of it, and and I absolutely love the brush because it's actually made by Premier. So, um, anyways, a few more questions. Let me see what's if I'm falling behind here. South of England, no places to get Tritech serviced. Everyone seems to have Gracos in the UK, which is it's interesting because Tritech is where the first time I've ever saw Tritech was in the UK. So I never even knew it existed, even though they're 100% made in the USA. Until I went to the UK, and they were quite a few people used them over in the UK, but it's interesting because whoever services Graco should be able to service a Tritech. But I would contact Tritech because they should be able to turn you on to somebody that that can service it for you. So and get parts. Kleenexes because the paint job is going to be rough. LOL. Um, for 120, you are not going to be able to do a good job. LOL. Yeah, 120. Well, it depends on what you're painting. So those you have 120 to paint what to paint a kitchen. Yeah, because $120 to paint a kitchen. Well, it depends if you're painting the walls or if you're painting the cabinets. Like, it's going to cost you $120 for 1 gallon of 2K poly paint. If you're just painting the walls, I mean, you only need probably 2 gallons of paint, one paintbrush and a roller. So, I would suggest going to paintlifesupply.com and then you can get what you need there to paint your walls and get actually really good products. South of England, no places to get. Try. Okay, I already read that one. You definitely make a difference. Saved me a lot of mistakes and better ways to do things, better results. Much appreciated. Brandon says, really appreciate you guys watching. The show, supporting our channel, supporting our store. Have you used the new Graco XT? I haven't. So hopefully here in the near future, I'm going to. So Austin, Graco makes great products. I mean, they makes a few products, the quick shot or the battery operated. Is it clean shot, quick shot? The handheld one is. I'm not a fan of that, but my 695, absolutely loved my 695. My 395 was a great unit too. I mean, they do make some great sprayers. So, have you used? No, I read that Austin. Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane is almost $100 a gallon. Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane is a really good product. So I'm Sherwin-Williams. There are a few products that Sherwin-Williams makes that are awesome. So for interior trim paint, it's probably one of the best interior trim paints you can use. If you're going to try to do cabinets with it, it takes way too long to dry, way too long to cure. It's not practical if you're in the business to make money. If you're a homeowner and you want to brush and roll your cabinets, emerald urethane, could be a product, for you for brushing and rolling. If you're going to brush and roll it, Benjamin Moore Advanced is even better. If you're brushing and rolling, there's nothing better than Benjamin Moore Advanced here in the United States for brushing and rolling. Pro Classic by Sherwin-Williams is a little cheaper. Can't stand Pro Classic. It doesn't spray very well, just runs too easy. It doesn't bond as well, like emerald urethane bonds to, hard to stick to surfaces way better. I wouldn't use myself Pro Classic for anything. I mean, if you're brushing and rolling, Pro Classic could be okay, but for the money, step up and get emerald urethane. I'm just worried leaving paint in the sprayer for 2 weeks until I get it fixed. Oh, you cannot leave paint in that sprayer, man. That's not good. You're gonna have to tear that thing apart and get the paint out somehow. It's amazing that it just completely stopped working. Usually, you'll start to get signs and symptoms of the package, leaking and stuff like that. It's cycling when you're not using it and stuff. That's telling you the packings are wearing out. But if there's still paint in it, that's where one time that happened to me, and I just took it straight down to the people that service our sprayers, they were able to get the paint out of it and stuff right away. You'll end up ruining your sprayer possibly, if you let the paint set in there. I mean, it is kind of an enclosed unit, so and hopefully it wouldn't, do any damage. But man, it's pretty risky. So hopefully it goes well for you. Once again, they are great sprayers. Having that second lower end, that's where you drop that second and put the other lower end in there, and then you could get it all cleaned out again, and then take that lower end. You could just take that lower end, apart and clean it all out, yourself, rinse it out with water and stuff. And but if that's what's the problem with the sprayer. So I'm heading out, gonna head to the store. Gave you some interior or exterior tips and tricks. Spring painting is coming up. I was up in McCall, Donley, just doing some siding with the expert stain and seal machine. I'm gonna do a live show again and talk about that, because there's still people asking questions about that machine on TikTok. I posted a video. Let's see where that is now. It's all of a sudden going crazy on TikTok, because we're doing siding and the benefits to using it. I just posted it last night. I woke up this morning, it had 50,000 views, and now it's got 250,000 views, 253,000. So it's kind of going crazy on TikTok. And people were asking, what about the cleanup on the machine and stuff? The benefit of this machine is coupled with the product that we're using, Expert Stain and Seal products. They're non-drying, self-leveling oils that are absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing, that go hand in hand with this machine, that makes the fingerprints non-existent, go away. It makes down stacking immediately not an issue. It is better to up stack and stuff, but being a non-drying oil, you don't have to clean the machine up today. You don't have to clean it up tomorrow or the next day, because the brushes and rollers don't dry out. Now, that doesn't hold true if you're using products other than Expert Stain and Seal products, with the Expert Stain and Seal machine. But go check it out. It's for pre-staining decks, pre-staining fences, pre-staining siding. This job, this house is being built. There's siding it with cedar siding, and getting the whole piece of wood completely coated front, back, edges before it's installed is a far superior product. It's going to protect the wood from all sides, all angles, and it's the faster, more efficient way to do it. And it would have been like about an $18,000 stain job is what I would have charged to stain it, and it's what I would charge to stain it. And now you're taking a project that would take probably 3 days to do, 2 to 3 days to do. Now you're literally doing it in a half a day. And now you're not overspray is not an issue. Breathing, oil is not an issue. Dripping stains on concrete, stuff like that's not an issue. Absolutely incredible machine. Expert stainless steel machine, well worth the investment. It's going to make you tons of money. All you got to do is go out and get those type of jobs that are pre-stained jobs. Not hard to do at all. So I posted it on Facebook, posted it on Instagram, I posted it on TikTok, I posted it on YouTube. If you haven't seen the machine, if you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to go check it out, because it's an incredible machine. Came from Italy. It's now available over here in the U.S. So cool. I'm gonna head out and let's see, make sure there's not any last questions. M. Gill, trying my first unit tomorrow. Wish me luck. Hey, wish you luck with an airless. I'm gonna paint with an airless tomorrow, dude. Good luck, man. That's why I started creating videos. My very first time using an airless. Hey, it wasn't easy, but man, I learned and continued learning, and I got all kinds of videos that teach you how to use the airless sprayer. And it's just like anything, you just get better with time. And so it's the way to make money. It's the way to paint fast. So Hope it all goes well for you, M. Gill. I'm not sure what your name is. Vista Painting. I just ordered green whip hose from your store. Great product. Hey, thank you very much, Vista Painting. I came up with those hose whips, my design, my specs, exactly what I wanted in a hose whip. We have a few options. PaintLifeSupply.com is where they're sold. Anybody that purchases from our my family operated store, really appreciate you guys. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your support just watching here my videos and putting up with me. So I'm out of here. I got to get going. I'm going to head down to the store now and get something done. End stream out.